welcome to another episode of Garmology, Fun with Outwear. I'm Nick Johannesson, the host of Garmology podcast, also the writer of welldressdad.com blog, and now the host of this series of YouTube videos. I asked in my previous episode, where I covered a couple of old Barber, Border and Northumbria jackets, whether there were any requests for other jackets you'd like me to cover. Some of you have been scouring my Instagram, checking out stuff that you've seen there and asking me to cover it in more detail. Now, today's jacket I have written about on the blog before, but I'm going to do a bit of a show and tell on it today. The jacket in question is from the Norwegian company Serac. Serac means part of the iceberg that you see sticking up above the water. Not strictly relevant in this setting, but it gives you a bit of background. Serac, S-E-R-A-C. Now, Serac has a kind of an interesting background. It's not been around a huge period of time. I think it's 2-3 years now, and it's basically a very small company centered around the designer Tore Mortvedt. Now, Tore doesn't, strictly speaking, have a sort of fashion background. He has more of an industrial design background, coming from furniture design and latterly of Helly Hansen outerwear design. Now, Tore is also a very keen outdoors man, a keen skier of the serious kind. And these things will be found in the jackets he makes. So far, I think he's got 6 or 7 designs. Now, this T2 is from the first T-line series he made. This is the T2, so there's a T1 and a T3. Along similar lines, but quite different. They're all black to start with. Now, this T2, we'll start looking at outside a bit. Basically a combination of 3 fabrics with completely different textures and feelings and properties. Starting at the top, we've got the lamb's wool, or lamb skin I suppose it really is, which gives the really sort of tactile, lovely cosy feeling. Below that there's the British Millrain 3L technical waxed cotton, which is very much the sort of modern new generation waxed cotton, nothing like vintage Barbers say. It's washable, it's waterproof, very waterproof, and really on par with most modern tech fabrics. At the bottom here we have Italian wool, so the difference in texture and feel between these two is so lush. So those 3 different, and what else can we see directly here? Well, there's a custom made YKK zip of a special high quality line, and when I mention high quality, that's really something that goes for everything in this jacket. It is a high-end product, and also we'll get to that at the end, high price. So what makes this different from other jackets? Well, starters, the collar is removable. If you were inclined to remove it, you can use the jacket without it, so it provides really two quite distinctive looks. There is an intention to make hoods that can be zipped in place instead of the collar. They haven't arrived yet, but it's the T1 I think that has the big hood. You've got the press stud buttons here, which have a very positive feel. Now, there's something quite unique about the way most of these fasten, in that press stud buttons can be a bit hard to get together, but these ones, you've got a sort of finger space behind the button, so it's just a case of using 2 fingers to snap them together. Tiny little piece of design, but the attention to detail is fantastic. So, zip, button up front, you can use both independently of each other. If it's warm outside, you might want to just button and let a bit of air in between. But then we've got pockets. So you've got these big pockets down at the bottom here, lined inside and out with wool. So nice. And inside those pockets, you've got big zipped pockets. Excellent for putting stuff like a passport, because you really can't tell from the outside that they're there, but they're also lined in lovely soft. And you've got the chest pockets, which also have that innovative way of allowing you to close them. So that's 3 pockets that side, 3 pockets that side. You might think I'm all about the pockets, but you know, it has to be mentioned. On the inside, we've got a pocket here, which incidentally also has the information about size and serial number. Each one of them is individually numbered. There's only 100 of each jacket, made in Italy, and for my 42-inch chest I needed an extra large. On this side there's this pocket. Now this is a big one. It's actually big enough for an iPad. That's right, you can have a full iPad in your pocket there. And there's all the information about the fabrics and linings, the merino sheep collar, and so forth. Now, the insulation in this is also worth a mention. Many jackets today are made with down, like they've been made forever, very little innovation. There are lots of new innovations in insulation as well, the same way that waxed cotton has had something of a lift technology-wise by the main makers of waxed cotton. This jacket is insulated with Primaloft Gold Down Edition, which means it has a very thin insulation, but due to the technology it doesn't move around, so it doesn't need big pockets made, and it's all very even and in place. So the insulation is uniform and where you need it, which means that the jacket doesn't have to be hugely bulky to be warm and cosy. Now, more zips on the arms here. So you have use a zip to tighten it up a bit. Now I'm fairly short and stocky, so I needed the XL for the chest. Arms are a touch long for me. I haven't tailored them yet, but I keep intending to do that. So I wear them just rolled up an inch or so. I could do that inside outside, but right now they're inside. So let's have a look what it looks like on the body. Now, as I was mentioning about the Primaloft insulation, very thin, very even. Now, one aspect I didn't mention is the action back. As I mentioned, Tore is very much the outdoors man, the active type, so it was important that this jacket actually lets you move, and I can confirm it does allow me to move. Now granted, a lot of the time my movement is bending down to pick up dog poop, but I sure appreciate that over other jackets that don't allow me to do that. So you have these action back sort of slits on the outside, which means it has room to expand, and you can see them again on the inside with a sort of jersey fabric lining. Now, what's it look on, you say? Well, some of you have seen it on my Instagram. Oh, it slips on like an old friend. I'll just do up the press buttons so quickly, which actually does give it a little more room, so I could also do up the zip. And there we go. So it nicely fits. There's actually no resistance here. Now, Serac call this the DEM technology for the enhanced movement, and this is what I like on a really cold day. Pop the hood like this. Whoa, snug. Now, it might not be vegan or whatever, but the environmental aspects of using lamb's wool here, it's great. It works well and it is environmentally friendly. And that is something Serac are very concerned about, the environmental footprint of what they do, the materials they use, as well as the quality. Now, I have to admit, I've spoken to Tore for hours and hours about his jackets and his design philosophy. And the T-line are made in Italy at one of the really high-end factories that make for the sort of really expensive brands like Burberry, etc. Now the interesting thing is that it takes roughly twice as long time to make one of these jackets as it does more usual common jackets of a similar price range, of course. Now I have mentioned the price a couple of times, and there's no sort of getting past the fact that these high-end jackets do cost a bit. About £2,000 for a T2 now, although there have been some sales and discounts recently. Is it worth it? Well, it depends how many jackets you buy, doesn't it? It's like shoes. Do you buy 3 pairs of crummy shoes or 1 pair of good ones? Do you buy one good jacket, use it all the time for years, or do you buy a bunch of crummy jackets? I have to admit that being a bit of a garment nerd, I really like the effort that's gone into this. All the high-end fabrics, the features, the build quality, the fact that I've used it lots and it still looks brand new, and I haven't even thought about washing it yet or anything. I'd say, I mean, if you're looking for the best jackets you can get, price no question, it's worth having a look at Serac. So any questions, drop them in the comments. Any requests for other outwear reviews, get in touch, garmology@welldresseddad.com, and let me know. Okay, and listen to Garmology podcast. We've got over 40 episodes now, most of them pretty damn good. So until next time, bye bye.